Hey everyone, welcome back. In this particular video, we are going to explore Burp Proxy's very first function, which is proxy. So right now you might be confused. Burp Proxy, the function name is also proxy. What you're talking about? Let me show you. So when you open this software, it looks something like this. But in this particular software, as I said, the very first line right here are the menus. Okay, so these are the functions of the burp proxy. So in this particular function list, can you see right here in the third number there is a proxy. Okay, so that's what we are going to see in this particular video. So you might have a question. There is a dashboard, then there is a target, then there is a proxy. Why we are checking the proxy first? We should be checking the dashboard first, then target, and then proxy. Because even if the proxy is in the number 3, but when we use the software, the proxy is in the number 1. Okay, so that's why we are going to explore in the number 1. Okay, so right now when we open the proxy, suddenly the second menu appear. Okay, so here intercept is there, http history is there, WebSocket history, match and replace, and proxy settings. So suddenly we got the second menu. This is the first menu and this is the second menu, and we have some playground right here and some buttons here and there. So before you get confused, let me just show you something. So here is a one button called open browser, right? So when we click on the open browser, it will open one browser for us. Okay, so it might possible that it will open the Chrome, sometimes it's open the Firefox. It really depends on which browser is configured in the burp in your particular OS, but 99% of the time there is a Chrome browser. Now, what is the special thing about this particular browser? Because it looks exactly same as a normal browser, it has all function as same as a normal browser, then what is the special? So basically whenever we do something in this particular browser, all of the requests, all of the traffic will be recorded in this particular burp software. Okay, so if you want to see it, let me show you. When we click on the http history and I go to the browser, and if I do, let's say, FluxxSet on the Google, then whatever the requests are being sent from the browser to the Google server, every single request is getting captured right here, and it is giving the numbers also. Request number 1, 2, 6, 8, whatever it is, right? So we can see all of this right here. Not only that, I can click on the any request and it will show me the request body and the response body also. Okay, so this is about the proxy. Now, let's try to understand all of the functions inside the proxy. By the way, the proxy section or proxy function is quite a big topic, so it will take a little bit time to explain. So be prepared for that. Now, so right now, as you said, in the proxy section, we have one option called intercept right here. So what is this intercept? So let's do one thing. Let's turn on this particular intercept and let's see what it does. So I have turned on the interceptor. Okay. Now I will go to the browser and I will open this particular first website, which is fluxxset.com. So as soon as I click on the fluxxset.com, can you see it is giving some requests here, and the browser is also buffering. So that means it intercepted the request. So when I click on here, it should send request to the FluxxSet server. But instead of that, that request has been intercepted right here, so that we can check the content of the request. So right now, how many requests are there that are intercepted? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 requests. Okay, and this is our first request, this is our second, third, fourth, whatever it is. So when we click on the first request, can you see right here we are able to see to which URL it is making the request, to which host is making the request. In our case, it's a google.com. Then it is saying these are the cookies. Then there are some other stuff also, which is the headers. Okay, similarly, if I click on the second request, similar stuff is there. Here also similar stuff, here also similar stuff. But in the request number 5, it is making the request to the fluxxset.com, right? So that's what we clicked on the browser right here, this particular first link. So that's why there is a list for the fluxxset.com too. Now let's do one thing, let's forward the request one by one. Let's see how the browser reacts. So let me go to the request number 1, click on the forward so that it will forward request to the original server. Now again click on the forward, click on the forward, click on the forward. Now nothing happened on this screen right here on the browser. But when I going to click on the fluxxset.com forward, it will load the FluxxSet website. Let me show you. Can you see when I click on the forward, it loaded the FluxxSet website. So basically, this is my browser, this is FluxxSet server, and here somewhere there is a burp proxy. So the request will go from the my browser to the burp and the burp to the server. If you are like having little bit hard time, let me show you on the board. Okay. So what basically is happening is this is my browser. Okay. And this is burp, and this is my server which is fluxxset.com. Okay, fluxxset server, where the website is hosted, where the fluxxset website is hosted. So whenever I send request, it will go to the burp proxy, then it will locate right here. But when I enable the intercept button, which is I am enabling right now right here, when I enable that, what happens is instead of sending request to this particular burp server, it will just stop right here. It will not send request and it will just wait for our action. So whenever I click on the button, forward the request, then only it will send to the original server request. And again, response will come and response will go to the browser. Okay, so that what exactly happened in this particular case too. Okay, so what is the benefit of this particular intercept option? So let's say you want to check what exactly is a website sending to the server. So in that case, it is really helpful, because can you see right here, when I click on any request, I am able to check all content of the request. Okay, here all cookies also, here all headers also. So basically I have literally everything. Okay, so that's why it is really important. Okay, now not only that, I can make sure that which request we can send and which we cannot. Let me show you. So let's say I don't want to send this particular request to the server. Then what I will do, I'll just click on the drop. So it will just delete the request. It will just delete the request and it will work as normal. So this is the benefit of using the intercept. So basically intercept is intercepting communication between the browser and the original server, so that we can check the connection, we can modify the data and all. So here instead of google.com, I can just add google.co also. Okay, or google.in also, and then forward this particular request. Okay, obviously you will get a wrong response for that particular request, but moral of the story is we can modify the content also before sending the request. Okay, so that's the benefit of the intercept. Now let me just turn off the interceptor and let's go to the next section, which is http proxy. So I don't need to tell anything to you, it names is telling everything. HTTP proxy. What is HTTP proxy? Whatever the traffic is going from this particular website to the original server of the fluxxset.com, all of these requests are being captured in right here, and hence they are HTTP requests. So that's why it is saying HTTP history. Okay, now I can check what was the first request. Obviously when I search on the Google, so that's why it is saying search query FluxxSet. That was the first request. Okay, where it was sent, host equals to the google.com, right? So we can check all requests in the detail. Not only that, we can check the response also. We can search in the response also. Let's say test, or I'll say FluxxSet. Let me search on FluxxSet. Okay, right? So we can search in the response also, we can search in the request also. So that's the benefit of using the this particular HTTP proxy option. So there are a lot of stuff, but as of now for the beginner, please understand these are the basics of the HTTP history. Now there are few things that I don't have to basically explain. So in the table, it is saying host. Host means the location where it is sending the request. In our case, it is sending to the google.com. Uh, Basically, very first request. Then what was the method? Method is get. What is the URL? URL is a search, whatever it is, that's URL. Does it has a parameter? Checkbox is there, that means yes, it has a parameter. Is request edited? No, the request is not edited, so that's why there is a checkbox. But if you remember, in the intercept, I edited one request, right? And I added instead of .com to .in, right? So that request should be here. So let me just reverse all of the requests and let me see if I'm able to find that particular edited request. So if I scroll here, yes, can you see? This is the edited request that I edited. So this is basically edited request. Now let's go back to the top. Can you see in the table here status code is also there? That means if it is giving the error or not, we can just check using the status code. There is a length. What is the length? So whatever the content length of this particular response is, that's the length. Okay. What is the type of the response? Is it JSON? Is it XML? Is it script? Is it style sheet? Is it CSS file? Or is it something else like HTML? So that can be seen here. Similarly, if we are using any extension for file, that will be here. Title is there, notes is there. If you are adding TLS, means is the connection secure? That means is it using the HTTPS or is it using the HTTP? Okay. Same way, the server IP address, cookies if there are any, then time, a listening port of the proxy, and response time. Okay. So all of the data is here. So basically what we are doing is whatever the traffic we have captured, we are just checking that traffic in the details, every single detail of that traffic. So let's say traffic has a one request which is saying give me website for the fluxxset.com. Let's say this one. Okay, not this one, but yeah, this one. Okay, can you see it is saying give me website fluxxset.com. What is the path? Slash. Slash means the base path of the website. So basically in that particular one request, whatever data being exchanged between my browser and my server is everything here in the details. Okay, so that's basically function of the HTTP history. It stores all data which is captured and it will put that data in front of our eyes in simplified format. Okay, so yeah, that's all about the HTTP history. But if you know, most of the website not only use the HTTP but they use the web sockets also for communication. So that's why we have one more option called web sockets. So if there is any website which is using the web sockets, then all of that connection will be showed here. Okay, so right now the fluxxset.com is not using web sockets, so that's why nothing is here. But if it is using, then it will show the connections. Okay, similarly, we have the match and replace option also. So this option is little bit smart. Okay. So basically what this particular option is saying, use these settings to automatically replace parts of the HTTP request and response passing through the proxy. Okay. So basically I can say that if request has a header host equals to let's say fluxxset.com, then don't send that request to fluxxset.com, send to the somewhere else. Basically here we can add the conditions, we can create the rules, right? So all of that stuff can be done here. Okay, so yeah, that's all about the proxy option. I know there are few things that we need to check in the proxy, but once we take overview of the each function, then we will come back to the proxy one more time and then we will start actually working with the proxy. Okay, so I hope you understand everything. If you have any doubt, please let me know. If you have any suggestion on my teaching, on the topics I cover or anything else, just let me know. Okay, so thanks for watching. See you in the next.